Interesting story here. Of course, the whole Elon Twitter situation is going on, and we've been keeping up with it. Some of you guys that watch this have been keeping up with it. And it is a lesson in economics and a lesson in inheriting crime scenes like Twitter. Now, you know, the Twitter files kind of, we had a part one and a little bit of a part two. There was some people that got fired out of that, or rather a person, former FBI agent or something like that. I didn't do a video on that. I think I talked about it maybe in a stream or so, but I didn't do an actual video on it. A lot going on with this story, which my man's Carlos Garcia out of Blaze kind of highlighted for us, is even more hilarious, but it certainly is a lesson to be taught. Before we get going, though, I want to yet again remind you all that through the 16th of December, you are going to be able to get 15% off of all merchandise items, the leftover merchandise items that we have on the campaign. We did our inventory check. We've added that stuff on the site. So the highly requested hat, the ISOM shirt, the Rippaverse shirt, they're all available right now, as well as both posters. If you want to get in on it, you get 15% off. And if you spend over $75, we are going to waive your shipping for domestic orders, of course. And if you order by the 16th of December, or rather by the, if you order by the 16th, we can make sure you get those items by Christmas. And if you want to gift it out, you'll be able to do that. But I want to talk about this story right here. Title: Janitors Union called a strike outside of Twitter, so Elon Musk canceled his contract and fired the janitors. I know, like, for a lot of the economic illiterates and the people that feel like they have a right to just other people's private property, they're not going to like that. They're going to say he's cruel. They're going to say he's cold. I say this as a business owner. The minute, definitely nowadays, because everything's like, definitely when you inherit another business, but business in general, when you get people that start acting up, okay, that could derail your business, and you might as well cut the bait early, right? Just get rid of it. But let's read this story because it's a little hilarious. Janitors hired to clean at Twitter headquarters in San Francisco, which is a crap hole, by the way, protested after 20 employees were fired, so the social media company bought by Elon Musk fired the rest of them. Critics of Musk are outraged that he will fire the workers just weeks before Christmas. That's y'all's fault. Y'all should have thought about that before doing this. Says our cleaning contractor at Twitter was told by Twitter that they are cutting the contract. And Olga Miranda, who's the union president for the janitors, so we have about 48 families out of work, and it just so happens that it's 3 weeks before Christmas. Now, this is what you may see, and this is why unions itself are rotten. I wonder if the unions were the ones that were pushing for this sort of protest, and now maybe there are people that didn't even want to be a part of it that maybe had to be forced, because it is California. Maybe they were forced into this union, and now they're going to be out of job because of their silly ways. That could very well be the case. Representative of SEIU Local 87 told the New Republic that 20 janitors were told on Friday that they were fired with no notice and that they were fighting for wages, benefits, and job protections. By Monday, the union organized a strike with the rest of the janitors against the firing. So it's an organizational thing by way of the union. So again, I'm willing to bet there are a few employees that were part maybe of this contract that wanted nothing to do with it. And you have some unions and the union heads who like, oh, we need to do this for this, this, and that, because of course you have what's in their best interest, even though you probably don't. And now look at you. You done cost everybody. Now you're fired. But either way, they say by Monday, the union organized a strike. The rest of the janitors are firing, saying the company was violating local cleaning regulations. There's those, again, California. They also said that they were locked out of the building. Well, when you get fired, that's kind of what happens. Your keys start to not work. Breaking, yada, yada. You can see this picture right now. You see all these protesting folks with their little mask on. And it was a picket line at Twitter in San Francisco at Twitter headquarters. Says take on the twit. So, again, this is part of, says California Labor Federation seems to be part of this whole weird, like, leftist kind of, hey, we're taking it to Twitter, yada, yada. And this could just been a strictly political move by way of union heads that incentivized them to do that. Or did they really incentivize them to do it? Because, well, they're out of a job. California Federation, which represents 1,200 California unions, decried the action in a statement on its Twitter account. Says Twitter doesn't seem to understand how important it is to keep a clean house and respect the people who take out the trash. What, because they fired you? Or because of you don't think they're following some nonsensical regulations? Is that the case? Other employees fired from Twitter said they're filing lawsuits against Elon Musk after he insensitively fired them and caused so much pain and anguish. He said the way Elon Musk executed the layoffs was really humane. What's the right way to do that? Like, that's about as humane as it gets to just say you're no longer employed here. Like, it'd be one thing if he like started putting hands on you or something like that, but that doesn't sound like what happened. At a certain point, I was told as a manager that I might felt fired if I just gathered my team to just answer questions. He chose to fire so many of us during a difficult time period in the tech industry. Yeah, a lot of y'all are losing jobs and figuring out how replaceable you certainly are. And I say this as a guy that was in tech. They are suing for severance packages that were promised before Musk's acquisition of Twitter, but which were not delivered to the fire employees. So, long story short, as the title says, is that they called a strike and the contract itself got canceled. So it doesn't say that these were like by legal terms employees per se. They were, and this often happens with like janitorial sort of services, is that they're not hired in house. There's a business that actually they are the ones that will employ the actual cleaners, right? The actual janitors, and then you just contract the actual business to do it, right? So they'll send whoever. So if someone calls out or whatever, you always going to have an employee that's going to, or groups of employees that are going to be there to do various sorts of cleaning services. This is really an industry standard in the way that it's done. So they struck, and Elon was like, or whoever maybe works under Elon, I don't know if it's he himself that made the call, or if it was somebody in there and said, all right, we ain't got time for that. Y'all gonna be doing all this. We'll just find someone else. Maybe they will start hiring internal with their janitorial services. Just a lesson in economics. Like, bro, you guys aren't entitled to other folks' money. Y'all need to chill out. Now, I'm not saying that you should be used and abused by some corporation. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to be the one to walk away, certainly, from that situation, right? But this idea that, and I think this is what happened from what I pick up, as this is more political than it is at all. And considering where the unions often lead politically, and we know where that Elon is the new boogeyman of it all, they were just pawns in this entire machine. Okay. And because of those guys who wanted to like make this statement, now you have a lot of folks that are out of a job. And that's the fault of the unions itself, and that's a fault of these guys and their political sort of aspirations. I don't know what you want to call them. You ain't entitled to other folks' money, so you can't. This is what is weird, that now we're there. You got folks they're trying to finesse business owners, right? And I think a lot of that has to do. It's kind of what came first, chicken or the egg. A lot of it does have to do with abuse in the corporate setting as well. But this idea that you entitled to other folks' money is just not how it works. And you need to be mindful of that, or you're going to be out of job during Christmas. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.